So starting things off already, it's going to be Goats bringing out that same composition that we saw the last time around. They were bringing the 3-0-3. Once again, going to White Room, going to play it from there. I imagine NRG Esports knows this. We'll probably see the Pharah already moving into position, and indeed he is, to try to start really chipping away at them on the point.
You see already, look at that charge, 56% towards that ultimate. Sit under a lot more pressure. It's going to be lethal, the first one to fall. Wavy does retaliate, but Stratus already with a double kill should have that barrage. Finally gets contested by Kalug, but Kalug is pretty much the only member who would be able to do so. Still back and forth. We'll see or rather, here for NRG. Need to
that's the barrage.
The barrage to secure that kill onto Gator. Only Sid left onto the point, and NRG with the first point cap.
That's an explosive way to come out and make a statement against Goats, who always tries to do that themselves, and they're so good at it as well. Top of that, Lethal not able to get his coalescence up in that last fight. Now we'll see if they can continue to chip away at the defenses of Goats, try to take away that healing potential that Lethal is going to have, force the coalescence out, and maybe see if they can find a kill on what is going to be a less mobile version, a less elusive version of that Moira.
And they will be spotted out by the Emperor, so not that it would have been too much of a surprise for them to be grouped up like that. Force themselves onto the point. Coalescence, as you said, will be the thing to come out, but it's going to be the headshot and the kill, rather, for Poise as he finds even more damage. Both of the supports out of the picture. Air Shatter coming through, but the Transcendence is more than enough for NRG to win out another fight.
Another barrage to secure it. Was it necessary? Maybe not. But the thing is that with the way that Goats have been forced to approach a lot of these fights, it's been very, very slow approaches, and NRG Esports are going to try to take advantage of that by allowing Stratus to build a barrage for every single engagement. If they can get that done, they'll be looking very, very solid. However, Wavy closer now to that Graviton Surge. That could be big. That could be pivotal in this next one as they go straight onto the point very quickly.
But he was that first target for NRG. We'll look to see whether or not they can finalize the kill onto him. As so far, the Diva Matrix is still coming into play. Look to make things a bit more difficult. Kalud launching that self-destruct up into the air. Finally looking to get a hold of this point. Goats really need to put the pedal to the metal. Graviton, I do believe, doesn't quite connect, and the kill's still going back and forth, and now Transcendence on top onto this point will potentially still stall things out. 89%. Soundberry committed. Poise finding the kills on this Widowmaker, and finally we do see more damage come through for Goats, but it's gonna be into overtime at best.
Oh, Wavy is on the Tracer now. Typically it's Sit, but they have him on the Widow instead. There is the barrage, but not gonna be able to secure anything over time here. It should be Goats being able to find the flip, just finding these last couple of kills, so they will make sure that they don't go out 100-0 here on this first map. And I mean, forcing Goats to swap their DPS in desperation like that might prove useful in the future as we see them swap themselves over to Widow Tracer as well. And it's going to be Sit actually quickly moving over to the Brigitte to take down Stratus's Tracer.
Oh, but can Gator be more impactful with the Earth Shatter so far? I believe he got blocked off by the Winston Bubble, and now Poise still fighting the damage, finds Wavy. He's not going to be a threat in the backline for them, and now looking to push forward. Sid is going to be under a lot of pressure. NRG winning out on top of this one, potentially with a member advantage in their favorite. Gator tries to charge in, tries to be the hero. He'll go down, and NRG poised to take this first round.
And speaking of Poise on the side here, going to be saved for now by Rob. We see the Pulse Bomb go out. Wavy not getting it where he wanted it to, or where he needed it to, rather, as they're looking to try to kill off Tensa and Kalug. Kalug, the first one to be eliminated. Tensa falls as well. And now the flip. Gator trying to now desperately make his way over to the point. Dies during his charge, and it will be NRG getting the early lead. 1-0 now in their favor, and we will move on to the second round here, and we have to see what kind of map we pull. If NRG is able to get Night Market, I think this should look good here, but it's going to be Control Center. We'll be likely to see something different from Goats, actually, because lately they haven't liked the 3-0-3 on this map. We've been seeing other looks because they know that, you know, against double explosives or against, you know, even stuff like Soldier being played and stuff, and utilizing multiple high ground angles, they can be taken advantage of in a lot of these situations. So here it is, The different comp that they're going to be pulling out is instead going to be Orisa Hog with that solo DPS. Before we saw it as Sit, this time it's going to be Wavy. It's because they want to bring out the Hanzo for this one.
We'll see Swan under a lot of pressure. I mean, he's not really going to be able to jump too much in. Might just have to use that particular cooldown to disengage instead. As Sid is going to find that first pick onto Phosix, a huge one at that. And already Goats looking to get first point cap.
Seems like they will be able to do that. Double explosive comp. Double explosive comp just not going to be super good. I mean, it's just not going to be as good against this type of composition. So I imagine that they're going to want to swap things here, more than likely. However, so far they have yet to do that. And instead, they are just falling body after body, dropping as Goats pulling back now after biting off a decent chunk from the NRG roster. Still holding on to control, 20% now on the board for Goats.
And FX has been such an important player for them, making sure he lands those hooks not only to secure the crowd control and a free kill potentially for his team, but also finding the damage with those right clicks, was able to take out, and do you believe RobDab at some point in that previous team fight. But now going back onto the point, Stratus is at 70% soon enough towards the rocket bars, looking to engage. We'll play around that middle section. Swan, as he was going in with that jump, Wavy will find the kill in the end. The Dragon Strike will come through as well. No res option yet available for Phosix, especially since Wavy keeps up the pressure, finds another kill, and the third one onto Poise.
Oh, that was a nice little flick to find that last kill on the Phosix. 55% now for Goats. Both of these maps have, I mean, you can see the difference where it looked like NRG was going to 100-0. Now it looks like it could very well be the same thing on the opposite side. I mean, like, straight up inverse of the last round on Gardens here on Night Market. Or on Control Center, sorry.
Especially since they have so many ultimates to work with. It's going to be the Transcendence. First answered by Rob that we see Lethal even holding on to his. He's not even forced to use it. Already at 80%. This is looking very good for NRG as the Supercharger does come through. Pulse easily gets taken out. The tire gets taken out by Wavy, as we'll see a potential last team fight here for NRG.
Oh, Sick gets taken down. He had his heal, that breather, to be able to reduce some of the damage, but instead he dies off, and now Goats have lost what could have been, you know, their hope to control this point and possibly win it here in a 100-0. Now they will lose this more than likely. Diving into the backline, Swan just pushing them off the point so that they can isolate Kalug, take that kill. Everybody else is going back to the spawn. Goats now looking to try to close this out. Can NRG hang on? Can they win this map here and hold out, win every single fight for a complete turnaround of 100-0?
It was going to be so difficult. However, combo wasn't quite there. Sid was unable to find Swan that time around, who still has that primal rage, so would be able to make it out most likely. RobDab even coming in potential with the Transcendence, as Swan will look to dive in, set his sights onto Lethal, who's trying desperately to charge up that Transcendence himself, but not going to be successful. Poise finds the kill, and now with both of these DPS for NRG having their respective ultimates, they should have a pretty good time when it comes to staving off Goats in terms of these next few attacks.
Yeah, so much lethality in what they have here, so much sustain as well. I can't imagine a situation where Goats is going to be able to take this from them unless they just have the better DPS ults. But already starting off, Stratus, Dragon Strike right through. We will not see Lethal find that answer quick enough. I mean, instantaneously, Stratus was able to eliminate them as that Orisa just wasn't able to move out quick enough. And now it's 63%. Maybe NRG has a chance here. They still have everything else available. All they had to use was a Dragon Strike there.
And not only that, I do believe Smex was able to gobble up that Dragon Strike with the Matrix, and Wavy not being too successful with it means that his team got instantly punished, and we'll see this fight come through. Poise still holding on to the Riptire. It's going to be important to see if he can find the targets, because so far, Self-Destructor will find one instead. Kalug with the opening pick. Riptire will come out. Stratus finds another. Can the Riptire do the same? Looks for Lethal, but manages to fade out of it in the nick of time. And now as the rests do come through, it's still a back and forth. Dragon Strike coming now through for Wavy.
It's all down to this. The winner of this fight will take this map. There's Smex going up over the top, trying to get the self-destruct, does actually manage to take Kalug out of his mech, takes the kill as well, and it's NRG. They look like they could pull this off. Gator now under pressure here as he dives back onto the point, and now regaining control. NRG will take this, and I don't think anybody will make it back, and that's a 2-0 now. NRG with the first point in the series.
Looking strong, taking the lead this time around. Not gonna have to rely on that reverse sweep a third time. At the very least, right now, Stratus definitely has been one of the outstanding performers for this team. I mean, be it on the fair, now even on the Hanzo, has had a whale of a time since managing to find those picks and the damage onto Goats.
I mean, so far, what we've seen out of NRG has been really, really solid. Yes, they struggled a little bit on that last map of Control Center to get started, but once they had control, they never let it go. Goats could not take it back from them. They had great usage of their ultimates. I mean, everything was very efficiently utilized. They were never overcommitting anything that they didn't have to, and what that allowed them to do is always make sure that they were ahead in the ultimate economy game, trying to still learn English throughout this entire tournament. But
Almost there.
yeah, it's being slowly degraded as I've been here in Croatia. I'm just slowly learning unlearning my own first language. However, as we look forward, past Lijiang Tower, as we go into our second map, which is going to be Numbani, actually, that Hanamura is yet to come. But Numbani, I'm certainly expecting some sniper play. I'm certainly expecting some dive play. And NRG is actually, a pretty solid team at this map. We saw them pull out McCree and really shut a lot of dives out with the Brigida as well.
And I think that's going to be the key pick to look out for, because this is where Goats will most likely look to pull out the dive. But we will find soon enough if that will be the case as we move on to Numbani. NRG this time around will be leading the charge 1-0 and being Numbani as our next map. This is really where Poise can once again come out on McCree, and considering what we've seen out of both of these teams in recent history, what do you expect?
Brigida McCree for defense. I mean, NRG, I think, is pretty likely to pull that out. Maybe bring out some Pharah play at the beginning or Junkrat, depending on which one they want to do. I imagine Stratus is going to probably go Pharah, though, for what could be a first point defense option for them. I mean, even if it is going to be a dive attack, which is certainly possible, from the side of Goats, I still think that the Pharah could work in some of those situations. They might even bring out either a Hanzo or a Widowmaker as well for their defense. Certainly, we could see at some point maybe some Tracer play, especially if it gets into the stage where we might see some necessary stalling, and that's from both sides as well. I mean, easily you could see Sit back on the Tracer. He's been very, very solid on that, and sometimes he's really kind of stepped up and been an absolute animal on that as well. However, I'm still expecting some tanks to be played here. I'm still expecting at some points for some Orisa play to be played on defense, probably at point 1 especially. But we'll have to see how things pan out as we dive into the game here. Everything is already ready for us, and it's actually going to be Ana being played by Rob, and we already saw Poise with a kill as we dove into the match.
Already starting things out really good for NRG, finding that opening pick. It's interesting to see Rob on that particular hero again. This has been something he has played quite a bit, so it's not too surprising. Seen it in the past. Numbani as well. Sid, though, is going to try and find his way through the back, looking to set his sights out to Swan, but in the meantime, Kalug gets taken care of as Poise gets him out of the suit, sets Stratus up for the kill. Swan will find a kill himself. No ticks will be on the board for Goats.
That was clean. Poise, I mean, nobody even looked at him, let alone tried to deal with him. They were trying to ignore the Widow pretty much throughout that fight. It just didn't work out for them at all. We see Wavy on the Hanzo now going forward. There's Sit on the Tracer, as we talked about as well. And he really needs to put some pressure onto Poise, because Poise was sitting there on the low ground. It was an ample opportunity for him to get aggressive, and he's actually going to work his way onto the point, it seems, or onto the high ground, rather, as he's trying to put some pressure into this backline, working his way around a little bit.
Oh, but this wraparound is going to secure that kill onto Poise in the end, and this should be an easier time, at the very least, finally, for Goats to get a hold of this objective, but looking to answer with that potential rocket barrage, or even the nano-boosted whole hog. Will be good. Wavy, though, finds Posix.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when you're hovering above the point like that. Goats will be able to punish you if you make those kinds of errors. Here's the barrage from Stratus, not gonna get it done as Stratus gets taken out.
Oh.
Goats able to close this one out here, get this first cap, as they will as well find the kill on Poise once again. And coming away from that point, they also have a lot in store for NRG on their attack. They have plenty of ults coming up. They're going to have, pretty much 5 of them ready for this next fight.
Didn't even have to commit for anything there. Finding that beautiful approach onto Poise, and then eventually the rest of the team. Of course, we'll see how they're going to be able to set up in the second phase. RobDap still sticking onto the Ana. Most likely we'll look to use that nano boost on someone like Swan to set up that front line advantage potentially, but as you said, those ultimates could come through. It's gonna be Poise though with that first kill, and as both Winston's dive in, the boop coming in, lethal finds him, and now with the Dragon Strike pushing them away, Sid gets brought back up. Self-destruct will be launched, and Soundbarrier committed too, so a lot coming out of Goats. They really need to solidify this team fight.
Oh, Wavy now at 25 HP, can't be healed just yet. Finally, that opportunity is open to them, and RobDap will get jumped on here, eventually dying off, but not before getting off a little bit of damage. Oh, puts the Winston to sleep. This could be an opportunity for them to re-engage, but Gator gets the reset, and now NRG have probably lost that opportunity. Here's the Dragon Strike coming out either way. Does find an early kill onto Lethal.
Oh, and that could be good, but not going to be good enough, as overall, it's still Goats charging in forward, claiming those few kills, looking to push their advantage. Wavy finding Poise there with the Storm Arrows too. Should have that Dragon Strike in just a bit. Sid already looking to lie in wait with that Pulse Bomb. Has it available, gets spotted out, and as a result, throws it, goes ahead and disengages for now.
Very close, Stratus, on this rally. They need this armor to deal with some of the damage that's coming out from the Tracer, especially as the Dragon Strike goes out. Oh, it somehow does actually put some pressure onto Smex, who was caught in it, couldn't get away from it, and Wavy, off the back of that, comes forward, and it's actually the Storm Arrows that finds a couple of kills alongside Sit.
And nobody can contest the payload now. The Celsius Struck launched up into the air. Dragon Strike finally comes through, but this might just be it, and it is going to be the case. Goats looking to answer back with a potential Numbani map win.
2-2-2, the Hanzo Tracer combination coming out. I mean, absolutely wrecking NRG, and we never saw them swap to what is considered probably, you know, one of their standard methods to dealing with aggressive tanks, you know, especially Winstons and stuff like that that come out, because they start gaining the upper hand. Other teams really lack the ability to create space. Poise on the McCree has been very, very solid. We already saw him landing shots on the Widow, so you know his flicks are on point now. And still, though, Stratus on the Brigitte, but no Poise on McCree. They have done this so many times on their defense, but not this time. And perhaps it was a mistake. It's hard to tell at this stage, but they wanted to go with the Hanzo instead for the later stages of that map. Now on their attack, though, basically 4 minutes for Goats. NRG Esports, it's going to be very tough to match that, and we see them going with the Zen Ana attack. This is something that we saw from them even on Hanamura as well, you know, in the past. We'll have to see what kind of effect it's going to have against what is very close to the same composition for Goats as they had on attack. This time, though, it's going to be the Orisa, as I mentioned, for that first point.
And I'm curious to see how they really can make this work, because Sid, he has been so aggressive with their first point holds on Numbani, and managing to find those early kills really stalled things out for the rest of his team. However, a lot of pick potential coming out of NRG can most assuredly open up the point for themselves too, so it's going to be interesting back and forth. I'm going to look to see whether or not they can find those early targets, especially with Sid. Look at Sid, like he's already setting up very far forward.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to contest Poise too, right off the bat. Once again, though, Swan and Smex, these guys combine often into Orisa Hog, and Poise already gets a kill onto Tensa. Obviously, no res potential there, because there goes your resurrect ability. He's going to have to come back from respawn. They're going to try to buy time to allow for Mercy to come back, but in the meantime, NRG looking for yet another pick to continue this advantage, and they get it.
Oh yeah, speaking of picks, Poise has been on point with his aim so far as he finds another one onto Wavy. And with 3 members potentially down right now for the defensive side of Goats, it's only Kalug and Gator onto the point. We do see Wavy being brought back up, but Smex finds him in the end. Swan barely holding off. Rob able to heal him with that Harmony Orb. We'll see in the end. NRG surge forward and eventually get that payload rolling.
But can they continue this onslaught throughout the rest of the map? Yes, they capped out that first objective in a very solid time, but they have to continue this pressure. They can't let off the gas pedal at all if they want to have a chance at winning this map. In the meantime, Gator has gone over to the Reinhardt, doesn't have the backup of the Zarya, but at least has Brigitte to kind of help set up some ability to CC out the main tanks. Although, when you're talking about an Orisa who can fortify all that CC, it's going to be a very tough matchup for them, as they're going to try to be very aggressive to really try to create space for their Hanzo.
Dragon Strike popped on both sides. Poise will be brought back up as the Resurrect was available. Tensa dropping really, really low. Will eventually manage to stay alive. The rest of Goats looking to push forward. Sid not quite connected with the post bomb. Will have the recall though. Managing to stay safe, and with the rally on top, Goats will surge forward, will find the kills, and a good defense for now. And as we will also see them just push them into their spawn. Poise making now the swap over to the Junkrat. Might be enough damage to push them away, but good patience coming out of Ghost as well to make sure that they don't overcommit.
The Junkrat coming forward, laying into the tanks, as Sit is already at 93%. No recall though, so they could turn around and start threatening Sit, who doesn't really have a safe way out, but he has tons of armor.
With the pulse bomb coming through, it's not going to connect. Dio is not going to secure a kill either. We'll at the very least see Valkyrie being popped out by Tenso, looking to secure the fight. It's gonna be Dragon Strike on both sides. No kills going through on top of it, but it's gonna be Sid who does find Swan. These two did happen. Kills coming through for the defensive side, and Goats still looking strong.
They are just dominating here on this map and should be able to find a kill onto Swan. They have him so low. Wavy does find it at the very end, and now 3.5 minutes. Goats have put a stop to NRG's momentum. However, now we see them going to the double explosive again as Stratus moves over to the Pharah. They already have the Riptire accumulated for Poise as he's going to pull that out and look to open things up for them. Right over the top, does find the kill onto Gator as they don't have the Zarya to protect.
That's already going to be good enough potentially. They do have that Transcendence at the ready for Rob. Make sure this staying power on that payload is in their favor. However, with Sid still getting close to that pulse bomb, waiting it out in the backline, gets spotted out and is the target of that Discord Dwarf. So will not be able to find an angle just yet, but once he gets that pulse bomb, it's gonna apply a lot of pressure. Wavy could split them up with the use of that Dragon Strike 2. It's gonna be Sid looking to contest. He will stall this one out. Gator coming right back in. Dragon Strike, the one to come out on the defensive side, but so far no kills.
Oh, Poise gets taken out, and so does Rob. I mean, certainly everything is in favor of Goats right now, looking to try to clean things up. You see the self-destruct go up. Not going to find anything, though, as the Primal Rage. I mean, we're seeing NRG looking to try to turn this fight around. Barrage now ready for Stratus as he pulls it out. Tries to look for lethal, somehow finds the kill, and gets Tensa, who gets a little bit too close for comfort there.
And that might be enough as Wavy will go down in the end. Heroic play potentially out of him, but the Primal Rage is at the ready, so never mind. Sid will prod that pulse bomb, should eventually be taken out by Smex. Gator buying so much time for his team, but will be going down. Kalu, can he make it in time? Yes, he does, and the stall will be strong. Self-destruct pop, but the bubble is there. Should be able to secure the kill. There it is, as Rob does manage to find that one in the end. And Stratus now coming in on the Sombra. We'll be curious to see if he's going to stick to it.
He is getting, I mean, he is going up there. He is putting some pressure out, and I believe he's swapping now. So yeah, he does indeed. Pharah is going to be the play, or rather returning to the Pharah is going to be the play that they go with here. We have 250 now, but Goats with this composition could once again get aggressive. However, barrier pressure out as NRG looking to try to get the upper hand in that way.
It's not really going to be looking too good. The Riptire, though, coming out of Poise will secure the D-suit, as was the kill. Poise opening up things, been a big matter for NRG, as Wavy still looking to retaliate. Gets Stratus a second time throughout the fight, but NRG will be coming out on top, will be getting that team killed, and both the self-destruct as well as the Primal Rage being available, they might just secure that first point too.
They're looking to try to put the pressure onto the spawn immediately as Gator under fire now, getting knocked around. Discord onto him. Swan diving right into the spawn room, right into their backline, who is camped out there. They're just getting batted away. Oh, somehow they do manage to contest still as Sit dies, and it's going to be Gator isolated in the back here.
And the memory advantage still on the offense. Sid does get brought back up with the use of the Resurrect, but the contest is going to be very difficult for the defensive side, as this might just snowball in an advantage for the offense. But as I say that, Sid somehow frags out in a big matter. He gets a double kill, finally gets taken out. Poise really needs to have a big tire, big effect. It's not going to happen, and now it's going to be so much time taken off here for NRG.
Only 1.5 minutes left for them as Goats gain control, as it was only about a meter away. I mean, 1.2 meters, I think, is what it really was. And we'll see them have another push here, backed by a Transcendence. Both of their DPS are, you know, I mean, not going to really have an option into this next fight. Maybe they can generate it by dealing damage to Gator, Wavy, and Kaluj, but otherwise, there's no way for them to gain early momentum outside of a pick, and they are not going to get that to start as Rob goes down. There's the res out from Kha'Zix. They still have both of their support ults, though.
And already forces that Transcendence. Rob not going to have that for too much longer, and with Earth Shatter at the ready, it's going to be Wavy who just threats for Swan. And now, as you said, Gator is still having that Earth Shatter. No shield is going to be there, and the team fight win will go through for Goats.
Another one, and a pivotal one at that, because they really needed to take that. Now, yes, they don't really have too much, but they have the option to stall. DPS for NRG. In the meantime, we're able to get, you know, dangerously up there. We already see Stratus holding onto a Dragon Strike, 88% now for the Riptire for Poise. So they could hang on here, and this is a great pick for them to get. Sit should be back rather quickly, though, and now it's the self-destruct going through. Not going to find anything. They're engaging on top of it anyways.
Primal Rage being now popped by Swan, who did go a bit too aggressive. Dragon Strike was used. Max that's trying to kill onto Wavy, and with the Riptire still rolling through, this might be enough for NRG to finally get the point, but it's through overtime. Kaluk's still alive, finally should be going down, as you will see Smex even get a kill himself off of the self-destruct, and they will manage to secure themselves the third point. But it took away so much time. Goats with a super good defense.
Yeah, overtime cap there for NRG. Goats in a very solid spot now, as all they have to do is get the first tick on point A to secure this map, tie the score up, and we'll be going into Hanamura with things completely tied up and going into a map that honestly Goats I think looks very, very strong on. I mean, you look at NRG, and yes, their attack looks phenomenal as well. I mean, we actually saw last night's Leftovers almost be able to take it against them with what was, an absolute clutch take of both A and B, where they were down to 1.1 seconds and allowed themselves more pushes. But NRG, you know, really solid pushes, really solid attacks, although faltering a little bit on defense at times. And if you have that kind of inconsistency on defense versus a team like Goats on a map like Hanamura, that can really, really hurt you in the long run. So we'll have to see if they, first of all, can make the stop here, perhaps take us to a tiebreaker. And if not, we'll have to see if they can have a better performance on Hanamura than what I would initially at least expect. NRG, very strong team though, obviously very prepared for this matchup. What can they get done here?
And considering the fact that we do see a 3-0-3 composition now for Goats, this could brute force itself onto the point and secure themselves the win here, because as you said, it's only 33% that they need to acquire for themselves here on Numbani right now, as we will see them have somewhat of a control, but the
that's a good bio.
is gonna secure the kill onto Tensa, wasn't able to be saved up by any heals. Poise finding that kill, Stratus with a second, and things still looking good for NRG, and this is very important because now they will have a better shot at keeping this momentum up.
With these ultimates coming out too, that's going to be so important. And Poise now matching up against the double sniper. Oh, they're taking even more away. I like this sleep. Just make sure that they take as much time away from them as possible, making sure that Kalug actually can't fall back to his team, be saved, and actually have them punish them for overcommitting to a stall there onto Kalug. And we will see Poise still close to that infra site. I think that's very important for this next duel. They need to make sure that Sit doesn't get a pick here. If they're able to continue this pressure, start gaining their support ults, get Fozix up there as well, that might give them a shot at not just taking this fight, but the next one after that.
And already quite a lot of time ticked away here. NRG looking good so far with their defense. It's gonna come down to those picks, those fights, as Gator is gonna be the one to jump right into. Rob is gonna be taken out as the Rocket Barrage does come through out of Stratus. Smex the one to find that double kill, make that a triple, why not, as he is on fire right now in terms of his performance. But things, while yes, they're still looking good for NRG, they need to still keep this one up, because one tick is not gonna be too difficult to acquire. One pick might just be enough to make sure that does go through.
All right, we see Gator and Kalug trying to dive up here pretty soon as they're onto the point. They're already halfway there. Smack's about to lose his mech, but he gets a lot of healing now. Poise over on the side from the highway trying to push out the damage. They have Gator so low, they're gonna follow up with it. Smex now is in here, but he's so low. They still get Gator out, although this is a win for NRG in the long run. Oh, can he find the kill on the Sit? Oh, he has him so low, but Poise not able to get it, but he does find Gator.
And that was such a good bionade coming out of Rob too. Forced Gator out really quickly in terms of that fight. Made sure that, again, NRG come out on top. And now look at that. 1 minute, 22 seconds left. The infra side will be at the ready. They're gonna spot them out. And things still looking good for NRG.
Only 1 minute left to go. Wavy on the Genji should pressure both of these snipers, but we'll have to see them push in. They all get purpled up, and Wavy drops.
We'll see a 1-for-1. They'll self-destruct now. Pop Kalug with a big double. That might secure themselves that first cycle, especially now coming in with that coalescence. The return self-destruct only finding one might just not be enough. The member advantage finally going in favor of Goats, but they need to keep it up. Sid barely alive. Anna coming out on top. The nano boost comes through onto Smex. Can he be the savior here as he finds the kill onto Lethal? We'll look for more 40 seconds now left. Kalug will lose his suit, and this might have been enough time for NRG.
Oh, they have to make sure that they kill Kalug. You can't let him get back into his mech. And they do indeed find that kill. 30 seconds left, and it's Robdab popping off on this Anna as they just weren't able to find him on that high ground. He's just dishing out so much heals as Phosix was the main target when they did want to dive supports. Wavy at 52%. They're going to have to eliminate him quickly. Stratus has swapped over to a Sombra to try to shut down anyone that he can find.
And so far, looking dire for the side of Goats, but not out of it just yet. Overtime coming for his pushing Spawn into a dangerous spot, but still managing to stay alive. Wavy's gonna be the one to go down. Sid answers with 1 kill on 2 points, but Stratus finding a second kill enables also Smex to get the self-destruct onto Kalug. And with these final few kills, we see a draw happen, and we are moving again onto Oasis here.
And we're gonna have the tiebreaker. Who's gonna take it in the end? Goats with, you know, a type of composition I expect to be very tank heavy in some of these maps, especially as you go over to stuff like University. But I think, honestly, NRG has a really solid shot on Oasis because we're expecting to see fair. Stratus has looked very solid at that. I think the one thing that they have to worry about is Wavy's Genji. If Wavy can pop off on the Genji or pop off on the Hanzo, that could really threaten their chances here in the tiebreaker. Other than that, though, if they can find a way to shut that down, you know, with the Brigida or, you know, having the Pharah come out from Stratus and have him, you know, really do a lot with that and prove very valuable in these fights to come, then I think, honestly, NRG has a really good shot here in Oasis.
And with an impressive defense coming out of them, they will secure that draw, and we will be going on to Oasis soon enough. And now we are at our second tiebreaker map of the tournament. It's in the grand finals of all things, especially now as GOATs. We're looking so good with Numbani and on their attack, but man, just NRG stepping it up one step further.
I mean, that was their map to win. It was absolutely in their hands, and they let it slip through their fingers. Poise on the Widowmaker. I would say, honestly, though, if I'm looking at, probably the most impactful player in that defense, yes, you could say Poise. Yes, you could say Stratus, his Pharah, and then over to Sombra. Those were incredibly impactful. But if I'm looking at one player, it's got to be Rob. I mean, the Ana was left alone for so long, and so many of those fights where, untouched, the Ana's going to be able to allow everybody else to out-sustain. And that's exactly what happened. However, coming over to Oasis, I said that I thought NRG has the upper hand here. As the map opens up, I think NRG actually should be able to play this a little bit better, but we'll have to see if that's going to be the case here as we see Sit on the Tracer, Poise on the Hanzo, Pharah's in the sky, Tensa under pressure, and Tensa falls.
It's out for some beautiful rockets coming in from Stratus. Max securing that kill. Poise finds another onto Wavy. And already proving your point, NRG looking to get this first point cap and the advantage on Oasis.
Sit trying to stay alive and contesting it as long as he could. It does wind up getting taken out, but allows his team to get set up in the meantime. And GOAT's now making swaps. You see Lethal over to the Diva. To get some discords out so that Sit can start drilling some kids. And they're going to need that going forward, or NRG will continue to be dominant in this matchup.
I mean, look at the mismatch in terms of those ults being charged up. Wavy only at 36% so far. We'll see whether or not Stratus can get into an angle where he can pop, and right above them does find a nice target, the redirect hit that is. Kalug in the meantime though does find Rob Dab in the backline, so things finally popping up potentially for GOATs as we do see Stratus go down. Kalug did fall alongside Lethal, but GOATs surging forward should give control of the point.
Well, that was an important fight for Stratus, and despite him taking on a 1v3, taking out the Zenyatta, the rest of his team has lost the fight on the point. They lose control, and now GOATs has some score taking away for themselves. NRG coming back into this one. They have Barrage. They have Rob's Transcendence as well, which could be very important, especially as Wavy gets ever closer to a barrage of his own. And depending on how far away he is and how accurate he can be with that rocket barrage, love to see if Rob can mitigate that pressure.
Ooh, but look at that Gator just gets melted down. 6v5 advantage for NRG. Rob committing the Transcendence though, so we gotta ask if it's gonna be too early because Wavy does have the barrage. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 though, as Stratus manages to find him in the end. Wavy though will be coming in with that barrage himself. Will not be effective. Self-destruct launched on top. Kalug is not gonna be able to find those kills, and NRG, as it will look to push on forward, should have the point.
They do wind up getting the cap, and I don't even believe GOATs ever got the lead ever. I think it was 44-43 when we saw it swap over. NRG Esports maintaining it, at least for now. Love to see if they can hang on though, as they do have a lot in store. Dragon Strike being one of those things, but let's see if Sit can find something out of this pulse bomb, as he's going to look for that. He's pretty solid about that. We've seen even triple kills and stuff, even in this tournament with those, as he's looking to throw it out. Gator once again just getting rocked.
And Poise will be going in for the Dragon Strike. I do believe he got it gobbled up, but it's not going to matter because kills still going to go through for NRG. Tensa in a tough spot will be taken out by Stratus. And now as we will approach that 83% mark, this might just be one more team fight left for GOATs to retaliate and make sure they get the point back in their favor.
Here it is, 92% and ticking. No Transcendence near, as Lethal will probably have to pop that quickly if they do wind up needing it early, and as such might actually pull out of position. We'll have to see. They are actually able to hang on for now. Gator dropped pretty low. Oh, they do lose him before the Transcendence does go out. Barrage ready for Stratus, as he's just going to allow the rest of his team to kind of space everything out. Poise gets res back up, so does Gator, but in the meantime, NRG is still cleaning.
I mean, it's just been so easy for them as they did manage to find a kill onto that Winston and these to the Diva. It's all about Smex right now on that kill feed as he picks up a triple. Only Sid left under the point, gets taken out, and NRG now up 1-0 on Oasis.
All right, the early advantage. We'll see if I cursed them or not. NRG should have the upper hand. However, if we go into University, I think that's where things do wind up getting a little bit more interesting. And what do you know? What do you know? Goats likely to pull out, I would say probably like a, if it's not a 3-0-3, I would say it's likely that they pull out something more, you know, with explosives. You already see them right now. I mean, it's possible they even run like a 3-1-2. But it seems like they're instead going to play a straight 2-2-2, playing with an Orisa. A lot of teams do wind up doing this. Some even run it with a Roadhog, but not going to be the case here for Goats. Again, Kalug just almost always, if not always, on the deep.
And then the return on the other side, Swan will be on the Winston instead, so a little more dive potential, of course, for them right now. We'll see who can get an early advantage as Swan. He's going to be dropping that bubble, looking to find the targets, isolate Kaluk for a bit, but not got for long enough in the meantime, though. It is a 1-for-1 trade. Smex will lose his suit, and even though the rest will come through, we might see Goats finally set up onto the point, but as I say that, Stratus is going to take out Wavy, and as he gets a second kill onto Tensa, this is the opening NRG needs. They will secure themselves that first point cap.
Poison Stratus just decimating the Goats front line at the end there when they just didn't have the support to back them up anymore. And Gator is going to be a lot more immobile than you're going to get out of the dive setup from Swan and Smex. And I think that dynamic is going to be important moving forward, because as Goats pushes in, NRG Esports can play with spacing a lot more than Goats.
And we'll see them look to contest Goats. Look at that barrier just getting instantly shredded for Gator too. We'll be dropping somewhat low Swan, looking for a potential angle. Now being closer up, it's going to be Stratus though again. Don't want to come out on top in this fair matchup, and
Gator isolated
to get the kill onto Gator as well. The barrage is still there, doesn't even need it. They will be able to push Goats away, and already 40% on the board for NRG.
Oh, Gator barely making it back, and this is probably where they swap over to the Winston themselves, and that is the case, as, again, he's just stuck there. They can't really do much, and here's the McCree pick from Wavy as they're trying to put some pressure onto Stratus, who's been a nuisance. They haven't been able to get the upper hand in the Pharah versus Pharah matchup.
Ooh, Sid way too aggressive there, trying to go towards that backline. Will be taken out. Rob that finds 2 kills on both of the DPS, as he will be that bloodthirsty Zenyatta, and with no ultimates committed. Okay, outside of the Valkyrie, never mind, that was committed coming in for Phosix. NRG hold out to not only the point with 73% cap, wow, but 5 ultimates to boot.
I mean, everything. This is basically everything, and almost nothing available for Goats. They have, once again, Lethal ready with a Transcendence, but that's just not enough against everything that's got, you know, at the ready for NRG. Here's Sit, Dragon Strike ready. He's not going to pull it out just yet, as actually it's the Dragon Strike from Poise initially that just threads through and takes them all out, or at least very low. But here, coming back in, a resurgence possibly from Goats as they jump onto the point. It's 99%. NRG very close to being able to take this map. They have to be able to hold this one out there. Specs going up. The Deadeye does come down, but so does Kaluge with that self-destruct.
Oh, and then NRG can still win this one for sure, as the Resurrect did come first. Max getting that resuit as well. Swan surging forward with the rest of his team, should be able to take out that Diva, but it's going to be Stratus finding the kill onto Tensa. Points takes out Lethal. No supports left alive for Goats, no members left alive for Goats. And NRG now at match point 2-0 in the series.
2-0 on this map. And the tiebreaker secures them now an advantage, a lead now, or a further lead as we move into Hanamura. This is going to be what could be a very high-scoring affair on this coming map. I mean, we've seen both teams with the ability to really just wreck defense, dismantle defenses time and time again on Hanamura, even with different looks too. Oftentimes you see, you know, a lot of tanks being displayed on that first attack. We've seen dives come out. We've seen you know, different kind of like interesting hybrids come out as well. So I'm not even really sure what to expect, but the one thing I know I really don't want to see against NRG is, we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to talk about it, but don't go anywhere, guys, because we will be back with something that I hope we don't have to see, but at least the good of it is Hanamura, NRG up now 2-0. Don't go anywhere.
And we are now moving on to Hanamura after an exciting series so far, but surprisingly enough, Goats are the one that are down 0-2.
I mean, it may not be as surprising. I mean,
Mm.
at the end of the day, NRG has, found themselves on the winner side of the bracket, and Goats has shown lately that there are some teams that can contend with them to be able to beat them as well. I mean, NRG is one of those teams. They've proven it already. But going into this matchup, we're going to be having the attack first out of Goats. I expect what is probably going to be a 3-0-3. The last time we saw them in Hanamura, it was a 3-0-3 against Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what I expect here. Are they going to be able to have the momentum to push into point B with a quick take possibly happening, or is NRG going to be able to stop them at least on point A a few times, really, find a way to deal with them? Because what we did see actually lately out of NRG, and I do really like it, especially if you think about, the recent performance of it on Numbani.
Numbani?
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking forward to. It's the Ana. It's once again the Ana to come out from Robdab. They're going to play it with a Zenyatta this time instead of the Mercy. But I love this combo from them because it's just worked out so well historically since they've pulled it out. And I want to see what it does against the 303 Goats, who are known to play this very well. They've already lost their Moira.
And look at that, even with the Bionic connecting onto Wavy, he was forced out. Posix finds another kill, Notix on the board, 4 Goats, and NRG just running through the opposition, really, as we do see Poise go down, but such a strong start coming out of them.
Very strong indeed, and once again, we see those supports just proving to be quite lethal. Alongside, I mean, everybody really dishing out a lot in that last fight, but we'll have to see if they can get back before Poise can set back up. Obviously, he's not going to be able to sneak a trap in and kill off Lethal. He just won't be in position for that, but he's still here in the nick of time.
Oh, look at that, the Bionate again connecting on 3 targets. Will secure kill onto Sid, wasn't able to heal back up, 6v5 advantage. No ticks given over to Goats. And as Kaluk will lose the mech, Gator going on a ride with the Winston. Will take him out, but will lose his life for his trouble.
Oh, Poise coming back around the side. Oh, this might have been unnecessary, friends, but they do hang on, and Goats backed out, but the Riptire utilized probably unnecessarily. Still, though, NRG Esports with tons to work with. Poise can get another one, no problem, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult against the dive. Once again, bringing in the dive with the Moira. No Lucio, so no speed boost for them, as they're going to look to try to get set up. They're going to go right onto the point. Actually, Coalescence to come out. Already, these tanks taking so much damage. There's the Dragon Strike on the point as well.
Oh, it's going to find the kill onto Tensa in the end, as we will see Kaluk fall, as well as Stratus finds another, and as he will secure the triple kill for himself, he will be able to push Goats away. And now, only with 2 minutes left on the clock, the fact that we've also seen so many swaps coming for Goats, they're going to have a tough time to really open things up on this first point.
Still sit in the back line here, just... I mean, I don't know if they know that he's even back there. I don't know if they have any idea where he's at, but either way, he's back there. Lethal taking a little bit of damage. Fosix with the right click, thrown out. Still, look at the way that they enter this fight. Look how low they are every single time they push in.
Gator almost dead right from the get-go. It's going to be Poise who finds the kill. The Resurrect should come through, but in the end, it's been time and time. NRG winning out these team fights, building up those ultimates too. And yes, the Blade should be ready soon enough, but with Poise finding another target, this is going to be at the very least 30 more seconds, potentially lost for Goats.
They're still looking for picks. On the attacking side, Goats have Lethal just throwing out right clicks. If they can find an advantage, they can exploit that very early on, because obviously without the Mercy, there's no res potential. So a pick could be everything here for them.
But already, look at that, only 50 seconds left on the clock. So many ultimates available for NRG. Primal Rage now forced out of Swan. Pulse Bomb is going to come through. However, on the hunt, it's going to be Stratus looking for those targets. Storm Arrows doesn't quite get anything. He does manage to kill Sid in the end, so it is a 1-for-1 trade, but the Blade is at the ready. Instantly opened up with a
he's put to sleep!
And the sleep coming out of Rob. The Dragon Strike is not going to find him. However, the headshot will. 25 seconds left, 1-6 secured for Goats, but that is it.
NRG a defensive team like none other. First on Numbani, and now onto Hanamura. They might get the full hold. There's nothing available for Goats unless Lethal can open up this fight with the right click, get the last 12% that he needs for this Transcendence, and maybe they can sustain long enough to get some kind of tide-turning dive executed here. But Riptire's ready now.
And Gator already out of the picture. Transcendence will not keep him alive. Smeks with a double kill. Riptile might be rolling. Kaluk, though, with the self-destruct. Will look to turn things around. It's still going to be really close and tough. Poise, unable to find those targets, will go down. And somehow, Crew Kaluk, Ghost, will be coming out on top. Pulse Bomb coming through. The Winston will fall. And we'll see that second tick and eventually the third tick. But NRG, what a defense.
If they wind up winning this tournament, they're going to need to go to a trophy store, buy the biggest one that is in that store, give it to Kalug, and let him display it anywhere he wants to, because so many times these self-destructs have saved the day for them, now giving them the opportunity to push into point B. And if they can actually get something done with this, that'll be so huge for them.
However, with already 2 kills on the board for NRG, they'll be able to push them back. For now, as you do see Stratus even make the swap over to the Brigitte, and these late kills, this is not what you're looking for if you're a Goats fan right now. Wavy, forced to disengage, gets at the very least very close to that blade. So with Fozzik still at 70% away, might be a potential opening for him.
I'm absolutely looking at Lethal and Wavy. They have to really come together here. Brigitte to answer Poise at the moment, but we also see Stratus on the Brigitte as well. And what that could offer them is a way to mitigate the pressure from Wavy as he pulls the Dragon Blade out. He's going to have to make sure that he's staying away from Stratus, or else he could get stunned and they could easily execute him off of that.
Swan gonna look to contest him onto the high ground. Will be forced to jump out as Transcendence will come out of lethal. Blade doesn't fall just yet, but Fozzik still holding out to his very own. Transcendence will be crucial, and not only that, but we might just see Rob potentially land a sleep dart. So, however, Poise will go down. Sid finds up the blade. Will come out. Self-destruct out of Kaluk again, but Specs too with a resuit claw to Wavy. These divas playing out of their mind. Will secure a kill onto Tensa on top, and no ticks for Goats.
They thought Kalug was going to be their hero again. They thought they were going to have to buy 2 trophies, but their wallets are saved for now. But unfortunately, their push is not, and they will have to come back in another time. NRG Esports ward them off the back of some insanity displayed by Smeks.
And they will make some additional swaps. A lot of spammy damage could come through. Poise back onto the Junkrat Stratus, looking to scout him out with the Sonic Arrow. Will bite him some invaluable intel as Tensa will go down. Fozzik's already finding those right clicks in as they will continue to race on. Look for any late kills. NRG now gonna buy even more time for themselves. 1 minute 33 seconds. We'll see that Diva of Kalug in a tough spot, but he's gonna go for the reset. Will manage to regroup soon enough, but with his forward positioning coming out of the side of NRG, they're gonna be looking still pretty strong.
Just over a minute. Goats struggling yet again, and Kalug isn't close to that self-destruct, so no heroic plays available. Almost set it up for them just a moment ago, but he's gonna need to generate the rest of that if they're gonna have a hope here. As Wavy is on the Hanzo, they need the picks rally to engage with.
And however, the kills are not gonna come through just yet. Gator shielded up, or rather armored up by that rally. Will be bionated. We did not see the sleep dart come through. However, Kalug is not gonna be able to have as much of an impact as he gets taken out by Poise. Stratus finds it too. And with this defensive hold, we'll have one potential last team fight now available for Goats.
Realistically, it is going to be their last team fight, but look what they've got. Both support ults, and what is very, very solid to have in this situation is an ability to test the high ground like none other. And what I'm talking about here is going to be a nano-boosted animal of a Winston. Swan, it gets taken out, but as they do have him coming back from respawn, that he can easily jump up to the high ground and instantly be a massive threat from full health, also having that nano boost as well. So still have to be, kind of worried about that if you're Goats.
It's gonna have to come down to Sid really finding those early picks. So far, it's gonna be the Dragon Strike coming out. And oh no, we do see Lethal Pump Dash Ascendance, but now forces Zoom back in. The beautiful Bionade gonna connect onto Gator, who's gonna drop extremely low. Will be taken out by Robdab in return. And with this overtime rapidly crumbling right now for Goats, it's gonna be looking very good for NRG. Now poised to close this one out with a 3-0 win at that.
Right at the end there, some mind games from Stratus too. Avoiding the Widow, making sure that he's not involved in that fight while the rest of his team is, I mean, completely reeling the Widow's team. And now Goats have a very tough task ahead of them. I mean, given what we know about their history on this stage, on this map, given what we know about their requirements for being able to stay in this tournament and have a shot at turning this back around with a reverse sweep, I don't expect the Builder comp. I don't expect the Torbjorn with Orisa. I just don't.
No Builder Goats.
I do not think that it's going to come out. Instead, though, what we could potentially get is Dive with a Hanzo and Tracer. NRG Esports, I do actually expect, at least at the beginning, you know, for a couple of seconds, surely the Ana to come through from Phosix. And the reason why is exactly what we saw displayed by them in the past, where, you know, they come out with the Ana, and then if Goats decides to be aggressive, they have that available, not just for the Bionade that they could throw out if Goats is on a tank setup and just, you know, cleaving away. That could give them an advantage and easily open up the first point. But more importantly, and what's more often utilized, is the sleep dart that could set up a kill onto Kaluk, who might pop a little bit more aggressively, position more aggressively rather, up on the high ground, or, you know, one of their snipers like Wavy or something like that. So I do like this. I imagine they'll probably swap, more than likely. They could stick to it, but I imagine they'll probably swap to a Mercy or something like that instead.
At the very least, as you said, after those initial seconds coming out of spawn on a defense, however, this is going to be very tough for Goats. They need to make this first point hold if they are to stay in the tournament. Of course, the draw could still come out, but that is exactly not what you want if your Goats already losing out on the way, so you don't want to go back there. As the round will indeed start, and Phosix will be making the swap over to the Mercy.
Murdered on Oasis. 2-0. Stratus setting up. Gator. Oh, you got to get away, buddy. You got to stay alive for your team now or never for Goats. As they're getting their reset, everybody is low. Surely NRG will be in a position where they can start controlling the point and re-engaging. I don't know what kind of chance that Gator has, as he's already at half. If he dives in now, he's going to take even more. They're still hanging on. You got to give credit to Tensa and Lethal to keep them alive in this one. Smex did lose his mech, but Kaluz does as well. Now no mechs at all for either team, and it's Stratus.
Ooh, Kamas on top, and even though we see the Tracers duel it out, it's still the number advantage in favor of NRG, and with a respawn advantage in their side too. It's gonna come down to those heroic plays. Pulse Bomb coming out, is gonna find a kill onto Gator. Poised with that one, Sid will not be silenced either, but the Resurrect will be there. Dragon Strike to come out. NRG lucky to get this first point already. Vertic almost on the board.
All right, we're going to be seeing Stratus try to dish out a little bit more damage so he can get closer to his next Dragon Strike. They're at about 90% now, still cleaning up kills. Stratus and Poise unmatched right now in the DPS department on this point, on this first take. It's going to be Gator coming in. Can he be the hero as Tensa gets found outside of the map? Gets dropped by Swan, and it's now one tick away from NRG. Oh. Okay, bye Swan.
Oh. Okay, diving in deep for now. We'll be going in for the reset. And as you said, though, they are one tick away from winning the whole tournament. NRG just storming their opponents in the grand finals, making quick work of them so far. We'll have 4 ultimates, soon enough that 5th in the form of Poise, and look at this defensive hold right now. Sid will try his best with that Doomfist, but already forced out of that high ground. Not gonna be looking too hot. Transcendence to open things up. Coming out of Rob, the Dragon Strike in return will look to dish out some damage, but misses its mark.
Oh, Poise stuck in a corner with Sid. He will get dropped. NRG surely won't be able to get this one here. 5.5 minutes still, though, for them. And I don't know, I mean, Goats have to put on such a show to be able to have this draw out and move over to Oasis, where again, NRG Esports is going to be a tough team to take on in that department. I mean, as soon as you get Pharahs into the fray, Goats really does struggle. I mean, Wavy has tried to contest with Pharah v Pharah, but it just hasn't worked out. Stratus got the better end of him a few times, as well as when they swap off of it, they still kind of struggle with the Pharah.
And Sid already being pushed back out by Swan. We'll be able to juggle him in the air, so some damage is going to come over from Sid. Lethal finds Poise, so with a 6v5, could be looking good. Valkyrie on both sides. Stratus finds Wavy again, who just doesn't have the best of times right now. With defensive hold, Sid getting close to that Meteor Strike. Will have it. Pops it. Transcendence committed over by Lethal. Dragon Strike coming in back from Spawn, and we might just see finally, again, Ghost coming out on top with Stratus falling in the end.
So close though, and Poise re-engaging. They should be able to claim the support kills. Lethal gets away somehow. They lose Fozix. Still though, look at this pressure on the point. As Sit now on this Doomfist is gonna be ripped down. They haven't found a way to deal with Poise on the Tracer. Lethal is available to be taken down as well. Wavy does pull out and does manage to stay alive, so they do restabilize. They do regain their composure, but not without Poise popping off for a moment there.
They will still have Primal Rage available on both sides. Maybe Kalu can again be a hero for this team with use of that self-destruct, but overall, as we've said, with 3 minutes now and 45 seconds, one tick is most definitely achievable right now for NRG. They need to keep their composure, need to make sure they don't overcommit time and time again, as so far it's been Poise being a nuisance on this Tracer. Does have the pulse bomb, this is quite connected with a kill, and we will see the self-destruct from Kalug.
Gator jumping back in. Kalug with the massive self-destruct. They also throw out the Dragon Strike. It's ultimates all over the place from Goats as they commit everything that they had available at that time to be able to secure that defense. Now they're down. They've worked it down to 3 minutes left. And Lethal and Tensa both hanging on to their ultimates now. Both support ults ready. That's going to be huge for Goats to be able to sustain. And, you know, worst case scenario, Goats, they do have a solid stall. I mean, we've seen that from them time and time again. And as they have the Transcendence and the Valkyrie, I think this is a good opportunity for them to possibly waste a lot of NRG's time and resources in this next fight.
See if they can keep it up as so far. They will manage to find Swan. Just isolated by the rest of his team. Not quite sure why he committed so deep all by himself. And now, as we will see the rest of NRG being pushed back, even extra 30 seconds being taken out of the equation. And Goats looking good, managing to build up quite a few of those ultimates. Sid under a lot of pressure, finds the kill in the end. Does have the Meteor Strike, could even use it to disengage. However, managing to stay alive means that doesn't even need it. Was off onto the side after all.
Again, time, successfully wasted. Achievement unlocked by Goats as Poise swaps over to the McCree. And I've been waiting for this one, actually. The McCree to potentially end the tournament for them as Stratus is getting back into position. You see them getting taken off of that point, but I don't think that he knew that they were already jumping off.
Winston trying to go with the Meteor Strike, instantly gets punished by NRG, and now looking to pressure in, come in with an advantage. We'll see the Dragon Strike come through from the defensive side. NRG unable to find too much so far. We'll still have Smex though get the self-destruct kill. Transcendence will be coming out on both sides. Self-destruct popped in by Kaluk, finds Fozix, so it's not gonna be over just yet.
Oh, still, Kaluk is taking some pressure, and as Poise gets closer to this Deadeye in future fights, this could become a massive problem as this man can definitely pop off in these scenarios. Deadeye does come out. He does find Lethal into the back line as Gator comes forward. The flashbang is ready. Oh, the Primal Rage is as well. He can't get it out just in time, but still, there's the Dragon Strike shutting down that right side. They can't hold on here. Kalug has pushed over to the Tracer on the high ground. We see the Hanzo, Wavy finding the kill onto Stratus. They don't have the res as it was utilized on Swan, but still, NRG hanging on the wings of redemption. They take the tournament, getting back at Goats for winning out on Beat Invitational. It's a 3-0 fire back from NRG.
Poise the Madman alongside Swan turn it around and secure the first place for themselves. NRG looking so dominant in this grand finals and definitely really well deserved.
Wow, what a way to come back into this one and really shut down what is one of the better and more consistent attacking teams. I mean, they have reduced their score lines like crazy. I mean, GOATS is a team that you see time and time again able to utilize a 3-0-3, even a dive. We saw them take on Fusion University. They took them out as well. I mean, coming back through the lower bracket, NRG twice in a row, able to deal with GOATS, finally getting the job done once more in the grand finals, taking it 3-0. What an impressive performance. And I love the way that we ended it. Poise popping off on the McCree.